We discussed in our last Shaar that due to the process of tzimtzum, constriction, there became a void in which God's infinite presence was no longer manifestly evident to those within the void. Now, in a footnote, he asks the question that if one is to understand the concept of tzimtzum, as he refers to it as kipshuto, if you're going to understand that God literally removed himself from this area, and therefore within the void, there is no longer any infinite light present, then how could this space in which we exist? If there's no infinite light, then there isn't anything. There can't be any sort of existence or any life in the absence of God's infinite light. Besides which, if by definition God is infinite, then how is it even possible for there to be any place in which God's infinity is not present? For something which is infinite, the concept of limitation doesn't even begin to exist. On the other hand, if we are meant to understand that the infinite is present, and as we've mentioned numerous times already, that tzimtzum, the constriction, is not literal, in that case, doesn't that mean that the entirety of existence is simply a mirage? Because really all of this is infinite? But that's also not possible, because we experience and live our own existence. The Torah says that God created a world, which would seem to say that from a Torah perspective also, that existence is something, the existence as we know it, is something which God put into being. So the Biyam Derkecha explains that understanding that Tzimtzum is a perceptual hiding of God's existence, the result is that God created several different, I'm going to use the term dimensions. That's not his term, that's mine. Several different dimensions of reality, each one of which is true in and of itself, in itself. The highest level, so to speak, is the existence of the infinite being, the infinite light. And that level of existence incorporates everything. And there is nothing that follows which is outside of its realm. And from that perspective, there isn't any place for any creations that have an independent existence, but they're all incorporated and included in that highest level of existence. But within the void, God created another level, again, as I want to refer to it, another dimension, within which the rules of what is considered to be existence are different than the rules in the pre-Tzimtzum state. And this existence is also 100% true. But it is only experienced by those who are within it, by those who live within that dimension of existence. So our feeling, our sense of existence and of self is also true from our perspective. And that is the true existence in which God chose to reveal himself to the creations that are within this dimension. And the same would be true in each and every different state of existence that God would create. And we've discussed this beforehand when we were focused on the concept of Tzimtzum itself. And therefore, again, from the perspective of the Creator, nothing has changed. And his light fills everything, because the Creator himself cannot truly be constricted. But from the perspective of the creations who exist within this new dimension, and they live and experience everything based on the rules and delineations of creation, and the rules and the delineation of creation and the void, they do not see the great power of the existence of the infinite light, and that in truth he is everything, and that there is no existence outside of him, such that the entire existence of the void only even exists from the perspective of those within the void, because that's where God's light has been hidden. But from God's perspective, none of that has occurred. There is no void. And again, as we said beforehand, even though from our perspective, our existence is true, but from the divine perspective, our existence wouldn't have any reality whatsoever. We'll continue Mirz Hashem in the next shir. Thank you for listening.